Many of us likely loved digging in the dirt as a child. Finding anything buried underground, be it an old coin or a simple arrowhead, felt like we had just stumbled across a buried treasure. However, over the years, people have found some rather incredible artifacts that were buried underground. Some of these objects have no value whatsoever, but others, well, they've changed the course of history. Today we will discuss 10 of the most incredible discoveries that people have found buried underground. Stay tuned for number 1 because it changed the world in a very dramatic way and made us question everything we know about human history. Number 10. Ferrari. In early 1978, a group of little boys was playing in their backyard when they began to dig around to see what they could find. They dug until they struck something metal, at which point they informed their parents, and as it would turn out, the children had found a Ferrari Dino 246 GTS. This vehicle was designed and manufactured by Ferrari between 1967 and 1974. The family never discovered who had buried the car there, but it would have been placed there for a minimum of 4 years at the time of its discovery. The car was planned to be retrieved at some point because the previous owner had sealed all of the seams and door jambs with tape, and placed towels in the vents and all around the other seams. Over time, the windows had begun to slide down from the weight of the dirt, which meant that the tape and the towels didn't do much good for the car. Aside from this, the drivetrain was in decent shape. The car likely could have been restored with minimal effort, aside from the issues that had been caused by water getting into the interior. The car was eventually claimed by an insurance company, who said that the car had been stolen about 4 years earlier. The insurance company had already paid the original owner, so the car was sent to a private auction for the insurance agency to recoup some of their funds from the cash out. Number 9. The Williams Enigma Lith. Back in 1998, John J. Williams discovered a strange rock while he was out hiking. The rock is now known as the Williams Enigma Lith, or the Petrodox. The tip of the rock was found to have been just jutting out of the ground as he passed by. Intrigued, he dug the stone out of the ground and revealed that it was much larger than he anticipated. The rock appears to have a metal piece sticking off of one side that heavily resembles an electrical plug. Researchers who examined the rock determined that it is several thousand years old, and the plug-shaped appendage does not appear to have been glued or welded into the stone, meaning that it is likely legitimate. No one knows what the stone could have been used for, or if it managed to somehow just occur naturally. Scientists have refused to examine the stone, even though Williams has been in contact with several different agencies. Number 8. The Paris Theater. In 2004, police from Paris found a functional cinema underground in a cavern that had never previously been discovered or charted. Officers became aware of the cinema during a training exercise that was taking place underground near the Eiffel Tower. The cave was estimated to have been around 400 square meters and had been transformed into what they called an underground amphitheater, with several rows, presumably for seating, that had been cut into solid rock. They also found a full-size movie screen, projection machines, and several films from the 1950s. Next door to the theater, police found another room that appeared to have been used as a bar or a restaurant. Several phone lines had been run to the area and an electrical system had been professionally installed. Police later returned to the area to investigate further, but they found that all the electrical lines had been cut and the phone lines had been removed. A note was left in the middle of the room stating, "Do not try to find us." Police are still unsure who was responsible for the rooms, but it appears as though a group of shady individuals had been operating a speakeasy. Number 7. In 1974, the Betts family encountered a fire near their home that threatened and damaged much of the forest that surrounded them. After the fire had ceased, the family went out the next day to assess the damage. In the rubble, they found a silver ball that was completely smooth, aside from a triangle shape that stuck out on one side. They took the ball home and a few days later noticed that it was emitting a strange sound. They called several reporters to their home to document the ball after they had found that when rolled, the ball would always return to its original position. There have been several theories over the years regarding the origin of the ball. Most speculation revolves around it being a piece of alien technology, but no one has ever discovered the ball's true purpose. It has since gone missing and has not been seen in decades. Number 6. In the year 1900, a crew found a shipwreck off the coast of Greece that was found to have been about 2,000 years old. While investigating the wreck, researchers found a device that has become known as the Antikythera Mechanism. This mechanism was examined for several decades and determined to have been a machine that could predict astronomical occurrences and track the cycles of the solar system. The machine is incredibly advanced for its time, but researchers have never discovered who created the device or how they knew so much about astronomy. Number 5. During the gold rush of California in the 1850s, hundreds of foreign ships sailed to the California coast carrying adventurers who were looking to strike it rich. Over time, many of these boats were left abandoned. Some turned into stores or hotels, and others were left to just waste away. As San Francisco began to expand into the city that it is today, many of these boats were left in the water, and developers simply built over the top of them. It is estimated that around 75 boats could still be underneath popular businesses to this very day. Number 4. In 1938, a German archaeologist found a series of clay pots that appear to contain iron, copper, and acidic chemicals. As it would turn out, these pots were batteries that are believed to be thousands of years old. No one is sure how these batteries were created or even what purpose they serve, but they are certainly an unusual discovery to be found in ancient Iraq. Number 3. The Rosetta Stone is a large object that was discovered in the late 18th century. The stone was found while Napoleon Bonaparte and his crew were demolishing a wall and rebuilding a French fort. The slab contained loads of ancient Egyptian texts that dated back to the 2nd century. The slab helped researchers unravel the mysteries of ancient Egyptian language and are the source of most of our knowledge about Egypt to this very day. Number 2. Modern Turkey is home to an ancient underground city known as Derinkuyu. This city is 18 stories tall and was discovered in 1963. It is estimated to be large enough to house 20,000 people and was found after a man knocked down a wall while renovating his home and found a tunnel leading into the city. It was found to contain shops, restaurants, bars, and stables, but no one knows who built the city or even why it was built underground. It remains a complete mystery to researchers. Number 1. The Dead Sea Scrolls. For anyone who is even remotely religious or have a religious friend or relative, you have likely heard of the Dead Sea Scrolls. The Dead Sea Scrolls contain an important portion of ancient Jewish manuscripts that were found in a series of caves in the Judean desert, a short distance away from the Dead Sea. Most of the texts contained within the scrolls have incredible significance in modern religion, predominantly Christianity and Judaism. They are estimated to have been written between 408 BC and 318 AD. They contain over 225 copies of many Hebrew biblical books, including fragments of Genesis, Exodus, Isaiah, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Judges, and many other Old Testament religious texts. Most of the scrolls are said to contain every book of the Hebrew Bible, excluding Esther and Nehemiah. These are estimated to be the oldest surviving documents from the original Hebrew Bible, being over 1,200 years older than the previously discovered documents. The scrolls were found in 1947 when a group of men who were herding goats entered a cave near the Dead Sea. Inside this cave, they found several clay jars that were filled with leather scrolls. Over the next decade, researchers found 10 more caves that contained several more sets of scrolls which had tens of thousands of excerpts from the Hebrew Bible. In all, researchers discovered a total of 900 scrolls, with many of the discoveries being made by the men who had been herding the aforementioned goats. The sheer luck of these individuals who have found such important documents while taking an afternoon stroll, well, it's just unreal. A few goat farmers managed to change the course of history without even knowing it. The discovery of these scrolls neither proved or disproved their religious claims, but they did reveal that there were several different versions of the Hebrew Bible in circulation at the time. While all of the books essentially told the same message, as the books had widely been published across the world, there were a few differences that scholars spotted, though they were all rather insignificant. These differences have likely led to the many critiques of the modern Bible, in which some individuals believe several contradictions ultimately disprove the Bible's message. While this has never been officially proven or widely accepted, it certainly explains how these books may have been slightly altered over the years, and why some translations are less reliable than others. The discovery shed light on some of the mysteries that surrounded the Hebrew Bible, and many of the texts from these scrolls have been added to the Bibles that you can buy at your local supermarket today.